Welcome to another episode of Cosmic Convos. This is Cassie, and I'm going to be talking about the chakras and the energy centers, the frequencies from the last couple episodes that I posted. I just posted one right before this, kind of explaining the hidden two energy centers before the root chakra, as well as the names and the meanings that I gave each energy center and chakra based on the understanding I have looking at the patterns and how everything lays out. So if you need to listen to the other two, I highly recommend doing that. That way I don't have to repeat or, go back over a lot of the things I already said. So in this episode, what I want to do is kind of better explain how I think that we actually create reality looking at these energy centers, because each energy center it does open up to a specific dimension. And these energy centers are chakras, the frequencies. We have the initial core frequencies, which are like when they're first starting, their first existence, right? But when I look at the patterns of those frequencies over 10 dimensions, and each dimension has 10 segments, those frequencies, they don't keep the same core number, the same core value. They change. And interestingly enough, they change in a way that decreases, not increases. So when I'm looking at those patterns and I'm putting it together, what I noticed is that each of these energy centers either holds a core value of 3, 6, or 9. So no matter what they change into, what that number changes into over those 10 dimensions, you can always minimize that number down to a single number, which is either 3, 6, or 9. The ones that resonate with the number 3 are the hidden chakra or hidden energy that I discussed, which is the one that I named 1, and that's at 174 frequency. And then you have the sacral chakra, which also resonates a 3 energy. And then you have a throat chakra, which resonates 3 energy. The ones that resonate the 6 energy are going to be that second chakra that I talked about that is hidden, or energy center that I named time at 285 frequency. That is a number 6. And we also have the solar plexus at number 6. And we also have the third eye at number 6. And the ones that resonate the number 9 frequency are the root, the heart, and the crown. Now, this may change as I dive deeper into this, but I just wanted to share where I'm at and kind of where my thoughts are at as well. And maybe you guys have an idea on this, or, leave a comment if you can help or you've heard of this before. But the way that I'm breaking this down and the way that I'm understanding how we create our reality is because that core vibration 369 appears in the pattern in multiple different kinds of ways. It's clearly a very important frequency. I think Nikola Tesla coined it. The person who understands the importance of 369 can, rule, own, create the universe. And I think that's what this is alluding to. And the way that I'm understanding it is that if you have all your 3s, all your 6s, all your 9s, there is a pattern of how we manifest, how we create, and how it comes into reality. The way that I broke this down was when you look at all the 3s, there's 3 3s. There is almost like if you think about a scientific theory, there is a distinct pattern that you have to follow in order to get to the outcome, to get to the end result. And that's how I'm seeing these. So with the 3s specifically, starting off with that chakra or energy center 1, and then going to sacral, and then going to throat, the number 3 holds the energy, or I'll say the meaning. When you look into ancient and esoteric texts, if I surmised it down into a single meaning, I would say 3 represents not just creation, but it's almost like fertilizing something. It's a ripened seed. It's bringing life into something. So I used 3 as pours into, fertilizes, builds up, gives that life. Okay. And so that's the first step of the process. So what if the number 1 that chakra 174, what if that is the collective energy? And that's the meaning I gave it. That's the collective consciousness. So that's the first step, is tapping into collective consciousness, because all your ideas, all your thoughts in theory come from collective conscious. And once you have an idea or a thought that you've received from the collective conscious, you've received from everything in existence, the whole, the one together, that's when you have to push it into your sacral, which is where you have this like life force energy resting. And that life force energy is what fuels it into belief. It creates the emotion, and the emotion is the power. That's the magic. That's the intention behind manifestation, or like typical manifestation techniques, right? You have to feel it into reality, into belief. And that's where the sacral chakra plays a role. And then after you have the feeling, you've maintained it, you've created that feeling, that belief, we then have to bring it into existence. So we're pulling the energy in through our mind, our thought process, and then we're pulling it into our actual intuitive body, and we're feeling it, we're believing it, and then we're pushing it back out to create existence, to attract that energy back towards us. That's through the throat chakra. Whether you're writing affirmations, you're speaking it into existence, you're writing it down in some way. So that's typically where most manifestation practices kind of end. Some of them have a few other steps, but that's where they end. But I don't think that's where it actually ends, because then when you move into the sixes, which are that second hidden energy center, which I named time, and then we have solar plexus and third eye. What I believe happens after you speak it into existence, it hits or it transitions into six. And the meaning of six is the tool, the power. It's what you use to actually create something. It's the connection, it's the work being done. And that's why it moves into time first. And that's that second energy center. And I put the meaning as time as infinite realities, because now you have to start to align with the reality that matches the thing that you spoke into existence. Again, you're not creating new energy, you're attracting the energy that you want, which means there has to be a shift. The way you're attracting it, the way you're bringing it in, is by shifting into the timeline that already has that energy there. So you're not actually pulling it in towards you. If anything, you're shifting your reality to align with the reality that already has the energy there and present and waiting for you. And that's why we shift into the time. And that's, you know, the infinite reality, the possibility of infinite realities. And then we move it to solar plexus. The solar plexus is the seat of the soul. This is where you have more of a soul influence. This is what I explain as being able to meditate on something and kind of accessing your highest self and making sure your highest self is in support of this new timeline. So it's like communing with and petitioning your highest self, right? That one I think I need to work out a little bit more. And then it moves into the third eye, because this is where we dream. This is where we can really influence other dimensions. This is our awareness. This is the access point that we have to go beyond our reality, our dimension. And this is where we can begin to move and shape and shift things that we want to see in our current reality. Dream work is an incredible, powerful tool because it changes the things on an energetic, spiritual level that we don't have access to when we're just totally, in our physical awareness. Now, once you do that, once you've put the work in, so to speak, that's when it shifts into the root chakra. This is the physical creation. The reason it shifts into this is because these are the nines, and the nines represent finality, harvest, manifestation. It's the outcome. And the root is when everything in your life starts to change. That's those tower moments and those big changes and shifts. And that's literally allowing the old to fall away, because now you're starting to manifest the new. And then it moves to the heart chakra, which is that gateway, that portal of how we pull this energy in. And the crown gives you the divine guidance, the messages, the synchronicities that creates the path forward for you to follow. So you have to be comfortable and okay with your reality changing and releasing it in order to bring in the new through that heart, by being open and receptive, not closing down, and following that divine guidance, that intuition to the new. So I hope this made sense for you guys. Again, comment if this sounds familiar in other places you've heard. Otherwise, I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye.